Alright, this is Akaboo69. So, how's everybody doing? I know I haven't made a YouTube video in quite some time, but, well, I'm going to, do you, a full-fledged review of the Digitech GNX 1. A full-fledged, breakdown of everything it does. Basically an in-depth review. But first off, we're going to talk about my custom rig. Because I'm going to answer the question, what did I play out of my last video, which was my Telecaster demo. I played out of that, which is a 150 watt power amp my stepbrother built for me. It is inside of an old Insignia casing, but trust me, the circuits are his. And a 212 cabinet that is loaded with crate speakers that are voiced like Celestians. And the cab is not completely done yet. We still need to put on the grill and the rest of the felt, but you get the picture. It's actually a pretty loud cab. It sounds really good. It's got a lot of high end, and it's got some thud to it too. But anyways, that's enough with that. That's my custom rig, and my preamp is obviously my Digitech GNX 1. So anyways, let's talk about the GNX 1, what it does. Well, obviously it's a preamp processor, you know, and you get like amp models, cab models, distortions, you know, whatever. It gives you all that kind of stuff and effects. But let's talk about it. A lot of people have said that they don't like the way these pedals sound through amplifiers. They sound really bad, you know, really muffled, really dark, and they're probably right because they're not setting it right. They're not putting it in the right output mode. So first off, we're going to talk about functionality, and that will also cover how to get a good sound out of an amp on this thing. So let's talk about functionality first, before we even show you all the sounds this thing makes. Let's show you how to use it first. Okay, you got 1, 2, 3 foot pedals on this thing and a bank button that takes you to different presets. I really don't use it a whole lot. And the pedal has 2 modes. It's got effects mode and preset mode. Preset mode would be like, let's say this is your rhythm, your lead, or your clean, or like a crunch, a high gain, or a clean, or whatever you want it to be. That's, you know, preset mode. Or effects mode, you got, you know, your chorus or whatever you assign there, you got your delay, and then you got your amp channel switching. You can have you know, like a dirty or a clean sound, or 2 dirty sounds or 2 clean sounds, whatever you want. I personally do a dirty and a clean. I use the green channel as my clean channel because, like on a real amplifier, when it's on clean, generally the LED that flashes is a green one, or when it goes dirty it's red. That's just kind of how I like to do it. So my red channel is always my overdrive, my green's always my clean. So that's the basics of the functionality. Now let me show you how to change the excuse me, the output settings. You're going to go down to this button called Utility. Press it, and you're going to notice it says Effects 412. That is one of the output settings. It means it's supposed excuse me, it's supposed to go into an effects return of a 412 amplifier cabinet or whatever, like an amplifier that has like a half stack with a 412 cab. Sorry, I can't speak today. But obviously I'm coming out of 212s, but I just think that gets me the best sound. Now, when you're running into a mixer, you want to put it on Studio Direct. And let me show you how this sounds out of an amp setting. I'm going to show you why this sounds muffled. Most people actually run their pedals in this mode because it's the default setting, but they don't realize you don't do that when running out of an amp because it sounds very dead. Now listen. You lose a lot of your high end, and rightfully so, because when you're coming out of a mixer, you have tweeters that give you that high end that you're missing. But out of a guitar amp, it's not going to be very good because a guitar amp uses mid-range speakers. So that's a big no-no. You know, don't run it that way when you're coming out of a regular amplifier setup. So I'm going to show you the different output settings. You got instrument 112, effects 112, instrument 212, sorry, the button's being weird, effects 212, instrument 412, effects 412. That changes all your settings. I find that one gives you the most accurate setting to what the pedal would sound like coming out of a mixer. It gives you all the highs that you would have, and it just sounds very amp-like. It sounds almost like a real amp. I'm going to play you the different settings right now on the output modes. And then in our next video, we're going to talk about what this pedal models, you know, the amps and the effects and all that stuff. Now, here's your first output mode. Now, obviously, it's not going to sound that great. This is Studio Direct. You know, that's okay, but it's just not really there. And this is instrument 112. And then you got effects 112. A little too plasticky, trebly for me. Instrument 212. Effects 212. Instrument 412. And then you got my favorite, which I use for when I'm running out of a live amp setup, effects 412. Well, it's basically the functionality of the GNX1. That's how it functions. It's pretty simple. Not a whole lot to it. Oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention, there's a V switch on the wah pedal. So if you just hit it at the right, you know, right amount of force, you got a wah too. So that's pretty cool. Wah is on every preset. It's default like that. And I also use it as a volume. But that's the functionality of the GNX1. In our next video, we're going to talk about the amp and effect modeling. So thank you guys.